Oh, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, you feel me? It is Praise or King Asalu with another video. And today, if you can't tell by the title, it's like pretty fair simple. We're talking about moving out at 20 and how or what that really did for me. We're gonna go through like a bunch, to be honest, because well, not a bunch, but I'm just gonna be walking you guys down my whole process of moving, why I moved, what I learned while I moved, things that happened while I moved, and yeah, hopefully you guys can take some things from it and learn some things to not do or do. So yeah. All right, let's start off with like the backstory. Originally, after high school, I'm not like every other, I guess, the average college student. I don't know. I didn't go to a college. Well, I didn't go to a university where I left my parents and did the whole rooming thing. I stayed at home. I was at a community college for 2 years. Yeah, I saved a lot of money. Let's talk about it. And my parents wasn't too bad, and that's kind of how I found my passion. So I'm thankful for it. But during that time, I was creating a lot of content in my room. Like I'll post some videos and stuff up just so y'all can see what's up. I was like going crazy. Like I was making every angle of my room work, and I made it my own space, and I'm thankful for my parents allowing me to do that. So the reason why I left though was because of how much work I was getting in Philly. Because I was pushing out so much content and stuff like that, I was constantly going to Philly to shoot, modeling and stuff, and going back and forth. That whole gas and toll situation was a lot. $5 every time you go, and then it's driving all the way into the city and driving back. Like it just didn't make sense to like continue staying in Jersey if I'm gonna be in Philly this much. Like I would literally be sleeping over in Philly sometimes. And along with that, getting to have my own space. Like, yes, I was living in my parents' crib, but like if I'm having my own crib, the amount of like content I can create would be endless. Or like the thought processes wouldn't be limited just to my room, you know? The ease of access to shooting in the city, being like 10 to 15 minutes away from the city's core where you take a lot of pictures and stuff, or just being in Philly in general, can take flicks almost anywhere. And that's what I usually need to do for my content. So it just worked out, you feel me? It made sense to do. How it all happened though, luckily, well, really, I thank God, because Lewis, my boy, he found me through Instagram, and he saw like the pictures I was posting, and he reached out to me to model for DTLR. And I was fired, I'm not gonna lie, because that was like my first step into like, oh, there's more money outside of just the regular 9 to 5 stuff. And since then, like we got really close, and he was like, yo, move in with me. My homie's moving out. So I was like, all right, bet. So now rent's gonna be cheap too. It's not gonna be like I'm paying like 2 bands off rip, you feel me? Every reason just made it a better case to leave. And that's exactly what I did, you feel me? I was out here packing my boxes, out here making strides in adulthood, but really not knowing anything about adulting at all, to be very honest with you. Once I actually got into the whole moving situation, oh my gosh, when I tell you, bruh, only God, only God helped me. Cause one, you spend a lot of money. Like you spend a lot of money. Kind of like wild. One, had to buy the U-Haul. Then I'm buying all the supplies like the boxes and stuff, which wasn't too bad. But then you move and all that, you get settled in, and then you realize you going to IKEA every 2 seconds. Well, I was at least. I was going to IKEA every 2 seconds. The whole grocery shopping situation, bro, it was bad. Like, obviously, I live with my parents all my life, so I'm not the one technically grocery shopping. Like, I would just go with my mom's grocery shopping, picking out what I want. I didn't know what I was buying. I always shopped at Sam's Club for most of my life, so I didn't know to buy like select things, because if you go to Sam's Club, you buying the big stuff for a family, not for 2 people. Cooking as well. Like I barely eat, and whenever I wanted to eat at my mom's crib, the food was there. So it was like, all right, I'm eating 2 meals a day anyway, so I know the 2 meals are gonna be there regardless type of time. I was struggling with that because I just genuinely didn't like eat. Lou would be asking me like, yo, what you want to eat? I'm like, I don't know. I'm too busy working type of thing. I was just locked in all the time, and I wouldn't even be thinking about food. And that was a problem, for real, still is. Another thing, in my situation where I was living, the parking, bro, I didn't know, because coming from Jersey, when I tell you, we got parking all the time. Like, it's curb parking. You right in front of your spot. Philly, no. Your crib is right here. You parking down the 5 blocks because everyone in your area don't know how to stay in their own area, you feel me? Like, it's not valid. I know it sounds minor, but if you're living somewhere, you would want to park where you live, but you can't do that here. Lastly, the environment like gave me like a reality check. Like, dude, you're not living in the suburbs no more. You're not living in a safe place anymore, you feel me? At the time, I was safe. I was living in a not so good place. I thank God, because I know he got me, but you can never be too careful, you feel me? You always got to stay on your toes, because you don't know what's around you type of thing, because people was getting their cars broken into, and people was like moving real weird, and you got drug dealers or drug geese like just moving around. So it was a lot, you feel me? I just had to get accustomed to that. And lastly, the biggest reality of living with was living with another person, no matter who it is. In my opinion, yes, I lived with my family my whole life, but that's family. When you live with someone else and start to realize their tendencies, or you realize, like, even if they be your best man, like Lewis was, he was my close homie. Like, living with someone else, it's like you don't know anything about them or how they move, type of thing. So there's some stuff that you may do that might get on their nerves, or vice versa, type of thing. I mean, personally, I'm the type of guy, like, I just be in my own world. I don't really talk. Like, I could just be chilling by my lonely end, but that can come off as like standoffish, or you don't want to speak, type of thing. But really, you just in your own world. It's just like conflict can happen, but like not intentionally, type of thing. And that's just because there's two people living in the same space, type of thing, you know? Through all of that though, there were a lot of pros and cons that I can like battle between. It was cool to do things for the first time, like buying a couch for the first time. That's a pretty big thing, you feel me? Spending like a good amount of money on a couch, like that's an investment, type of thing. Then there's a whole paying rent for the first time, even though it doesn't sound good, but it kind of like gave me a sense of like, oh, I'm really doing this adulting thing. Then it's creating your own space, having the whole, like, your whole creativity freedom, type of thing. It was fire because I get to put them on posters, I get to set up things how I want to, and it's like I'm making my dream office, in a sense, like at this moment, or my dream area at the moment, you feel me? Even though there was like a lot of restrictions, but I feel like that's what you really get when you finally move into your own place. You don't have to go by the rules of anyone else besides your landlord, but you feel me? Like, that's what felt great. Oh, especially like living with with a friend that was also a creator. That was big, because a lot of people, they don't understand the things that creators do, or like what we're constantly facing. So it was nice to have someone else that was like, all right, yo, I got you, I'll come shoot your fit, or I'll come shoot, you feel me? And you could talk about that stuff without them feeling lost, type of thing. So it was cool to have someone that's understanding on that side. In terms of the cons though, it was like, just like I said earlier, you're constantly spending money, bro. Like, within the first 6 months, first 6 months, I'm spending money all the time. Like, trying to set up a new thing in the crib, or like buying something, like, it was a lot, you feel me? And that's no excuse. You're gonna have to spend money regardless every day, but I would just rather not if I don't need to. But half the time, I was probably buying stuff I just wanted to. Along with that, it was another con, probably the bigger con, the disagreements that will happen. Like, it's gonna happen regardless, you feel me? And just how that affects your relationship with whoever you're living with, you feel me? And like I said, this is my close man's, or he is my close man's. I was talking to my girl about this too, that like, it definitely changes the relationship a little bit. It's not gonna be exactly where it was before you guys moved in, type of thing. And it's like that, like, that's what happens when you move in with like your peoples, and you never want that. So like, it depends on the situation, obviously, but like, I feel like that's just the fact of the matter. Moving on though, the bigger thing that happened with my whole moving situation is when I moved into my own place, which I am in now, you feel me? I feel like this was the like genuine beginning into adulthood, I guess you could say, because now I'm in my own space. Now I'm genuinely on my own. I don't have no second support system, I guess you could say, as like living with the roommate and stuff. This is like genuinely on my own. Obviously, I have people in my life that being helpful, helping me with like gifts and stuff like that. But still, at the end of the day, I pay my rent. I barely restock my fridge. Like, just little stuff like that. Now, just like I said earlier, the whole creative freedom when it comes to building my own space, like, everything in here is just me because I wanted to. It felt great to do. Like, even though it's more rent, like another band in rent, essentially. But it's worth it. And I'm thankful. I thank God for this, because one, I'm 20. Well, I was 20 at the time. No, I was 21 at the time. I was 21 at the time, and I get a spot like this. Y'all seen the view? Like, come on, man. This is something that it's not regular for 21-year-olds to do. But I'm thankful for it. Like, for real. Another thing about this spot that like really clicked, and I think a lot of people should just really take heed of this whenever they're like thinking of moving or moving into wherever. If you're gonna spend your money, I think you should get the spot that you genuinely want to get. For this one, like when I first moved out, I settled because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just, like, okay, I want to move out, and someone's that I know is being available to me. That's valid. But now it was like, dude, if I'm about to spend my bread, I need to get something I want. I don't want to settle for, oh, this is cool. Like, oh, it may not have enough space, but I can, like, I was like, if I'm going to spend this bread and if I'm going to move out to my own spot, I need it to be something that I know I can make my own and I'm genuinely gonna love. Like, this is a vibe. I never want to leave my crib now because of that. You feel me? Yeah, moving out is, I don't know. You learn a lot of things. Like, I think the biggest one will definitely be learning to like choose who you allow into your space and not allowing just anyone into your space. Energy is big. Like, I've like over the years, I've kind of prided myself in knowing how to read people's energy, and I'm thankful I haven't let anyone that's like horrible into my energy and nothing like that, or into my space. But at the same time, my first spot, I feel like I was being too open and I was being too accessible, and I kind of like, I don't know, I just wasn't moving right in terms of just being selective on who I let over. And obviously it's a learning curve, that's all it is, you feel me? I feel like I was moving like I was in a college dorm, and I wasn't that. This crib though, obviously I've been moving way different, and only people that's been here is either close friends or it was only for a quick type vibe, you feel me? Like, if it's your space, then make it your space. Like, don't allow negative energy to come into your space or disrupt what you have. Only allow what you want. That's what I've genuinely realized. And yeah, I've been getting real cool with my downstairs peoples. It's real fire, like, to be like, I guess I'm genuinely being an adult. Like, I'm building relationships with other adults and stuff. It's cool, I guess. And I ain't gonna lie, yo. So I don't know, in the past past video, I said I'm moving to New York. We gonna see. We gonna weigh out our options. I'm gonna keep praying on that. But you feel me? I might just chill out here for a little bit, but we gonna see. You feel me? Hopefully you guys like got something from this video, or like just understanding where I came from at least. Oh, on some real, I'll keep it a stack with you to the realities of like each step. I'm kind of the type of guy that just goes for things without thinking, cause I went into both spots. I know people say had the whole 6 months rent thing, all that. My whole budgeting system back then was not valid. And I was just going out on a whim. I knew I had the bread to pay rent. I didn't have the whole 6 months thing. I just went out on a whim. I was like, all right, let's do it. That's what I did. And obviously I'm still good, but it's just, you know, being smarter with your bread. So if you're really thinking about moving out or making big decisions, just have that cushion. Just be able to know that, like, okay, even if I do go wrong, I still got it type of thing. You feel me? Don't be like me. Well, don't make my mistakes, but just be smarter, I guess you could say. That's all I gotta say for real. But yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all.